Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels to short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Oh my gosh. Every time that ends, I'm always like, woo, what an intro.
I love it. We're pumped up. November
We are.
1st. I
Yep.
cannot believe it.
I know. How are we? We are like, wow. We're like really coming up to the end of the year at this point.
Yeah, it was 60 days left, right? That's what we got left.
Oh my gosh.
61?
Don't say it like
Math.
that. That sounds so, that's
But
not
did
that
you
many
end up?
days.
Yeah, it's wrapping up. And for everyone out there in hotel world, I know there's definitely busy time for you, ramping up, getting your budgets done, getting the holidays ready.
Yep.
It's a lot going on. But did you do anything for Halloween last night, Sarah? Did
Oh
you
my
go
gosh.
out and dress up?
You know, it's so funny. It was like a toss. I love that you asked that. It was a toss up. I was like, okay, am I going to go? Am I going to not go? Because for those that know, like, live here in West Hollywood, and West Hollywood has, they brought back their carnival for the first time since the pandemic. And I mean, they were expecting a good like 300,000 people. That's a lot of people.
300,000 people?
Yeah, that's a lot
That
of people.
sounds like a fun event.
I
So is that where
know.
you were?
We almost went, but I do have my mother in town, and I was like, "So, moms, what you want to do? You want to go into the crowd or not?" And we had a really big, busy, fun day, and so she was like, maybe not. And honestly, you can imagine traffic to get into
Oh,
those
yeah.
events is like so crazy. So it's like, do we need to be in the car for this amount of time? Anyway, what did you do, Steve?
Well, this is a deep cut. I dressed as Billy Butcherson. Does anybody know Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus? So our whole family dressed as Hocus Pocus. So that my wife and daughter were two of the witches, and my son, whose name is Zachary, wanted to be Thackeray Binks the cat. So we all got dressed up and walked around a good old trick or treat.
Wait, okay, hold on. Wait, this is not fair that you're bringing this live. You're bringing this up live on air because like I would have completely made sure that you had a photo.
There is a photo up of me. I don't share my kids on my public
That's fine. That's
socials,
fair. That's fair.
but you can see me on my Instagram or at the
Okay.
Hospitality Mentor Instagram. You'll see the makeup done by myself.
Oh, I'm about to do this. In the meantime, while I'm pulling up this photo to completely have a good time with this, tell us where you guys are joining us from. Where
Yeah,
are you
roll
guys?
call
We want
time.
to see, which is cool, and then we're gonna see what
Yeah,
state
where are you joining us from? We love seeing it. I think we broke a record last week with the amount of countries that joined us. We got Jeremy again,
Wow.
live from Israel.
Wow, good to see you. Okay, by the way, everybody.
Oh, there he is, Billy
Okay.
Butcherson.
I know. This is good. Good
I think it's
job.
pretty good,
Yeah,
right?
this is great, by the way, for everybody that can actually see this live. This is what happens. Steve, you don't tell us ahead of time. We're going to do a low-tech version where I lift my phone up to the camera.
I think next year we get dressed on air, and we're going to do it that week.
That would actually be a lot of fun. I do definitely need to like make sure that I participate. So yeah, right? Amazing costume.
Thank you very much.
I
And I'd
know.
love to know what you all dressed up as last night.
Yeah, let us
So
know if you participated. But also let us know. Ooh, chilly Maryland. Oh yeah. Oh, I miss
yeah, it's chilly here in Miami. Nina, it's 76 degrees here today.
Okay, that's funny.
And I
Well,
have my fall foliage over my
oh, that's
shoulder.
your fall foliage? Oh, cool. Perfect. Are they real?
Yeah, they're real. These are real
Okay, well, that's
plants.
good.
I
At
keep
least
them
they're real.
alive. Yeah.
My little plant is not real. I do have real plants, but they're, getting fixed elsewhere.
Well, good to see Sophia here. But yes, I love seeing everyone from around the world that always watches us. It's really
Yeah,
special to Sarah and I. We talk about it afterwards, and we love
I
seeing them all
know.
here.
We're always
Um,
like pinching ourselves. It's so awesome to be like, oh, cool. Oh, going to New Orleans. I was supposed to be in New Orleans right about this time. So have fun. I was here. Actually, I was in New Orleans last year at this time. So yeah, have fun with that.
yeah, I love it.
That's
So good energy starting today. I've still got my
good.
sugar high from candies, and I might have some
I,
more. I might take some of
I
my
have
kids'
my
stuff.
drink that I will not be posting on air because This is not product placement.
Well, we got Biscayne coffee. I'll promote mine. Get some Biscayne coffee.
Promote yours. Promote yours. That's perfect. I'm
All
like,
right. We got a lot to cover today. Sorry, we got sidetracked there.
we got a little sidetracked, but all good. Why don't we go ahead and talk about some of the exciting things that are happening in the world of hotels and hospitality? So, the big thing right now is what's going on. Google versus OTAs. And we did like a little bit of a deep dive in this because I don't know how many of you all. Oh, look, we got Steve Sinclair joined us.
What's up,
Steve.
Steven?
Woo! Oh my gosh. Love him. By the way, yes, definitely. Oh, wow. Did I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Bounty. Steven Sinclair has a company called Bounty, and it is changing the landscape of Lost and Found. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh,
But
I got to check that out now.
he makes Lost and Found fun. Okay, so all right. So this Google versus the OTAs. So as we all know, a couple years back, obviously, Google has launched their flights and hotels platform. So people Google it or Google it, people search for flights, hotels, etc. Well, you can just imagine that OTAs, as they have been doing advertising on the platform, they've been finding out that they keep increasing their ad spending price. So they keep spending more money in advertising, and they're realizing that they're getting less and less conversions or ROI. And so there's this big ongoing lawsuit that's, by the way, not only with OTAs, but it's with several brands from Home Depot to you name it, that are basically saying, hey, Google, you might be basically making your advertising, you're increasing the pricing for advertising, and it's not necessarily in our favor, and it's in favor of Google. So basically a conflict of interest. There we go. And I think it's really fascinating because I mean, Steve and I were talking about this beforehand. I definitely saw that happen, years ago when I was, dabbling with advertising on Twitter as well as Facebook. And then at a certain point, I just like wasn't seeing the ROI. And I don't know. What do you think about this, Steve?
Yeah, look, as we were chatting about this, it kind of struck that this goes back to controlling your customer, right? Because you rely on these platforms to get these things out there, and they've built these massive platforms, whether it's Google or Facebook or X. I'm trying to call it X now instead of Twitter, right? And all
X.
these
Oh my God.
platforms that control who sees your products. But if you can really drive people and build your email list and build your contact list and advertise directly to them, that's a way around it. But that's really hard to do nowadays, especially with all the rules of collecting these things. So you rely on putting ads out there. But we've seen it. I don't go to TripAdvisor anymore to go look at reviews. I go straight to Google to see the reviews. So I don't know about you all there. As you're looking to book your trips, are you looking at TripAdvisor or hotels.com or Booking, or where are you looking for reviews? Because I go straight to Google now because it's now taken everything together.
Yep. And it's interesting because I do remember, as that was, it's just even speaking to friends, how they're like, oh yeah, well, I was searching for flights like on Google. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I do remember when people would search for flights originally on different OTAs, whatever their favorite one was, whether it was Bookings or Expedia or whatever it was. So it is interesting to see this shift. And I mean, arguably that is a conflict of interest. So
yeah, because those OTAs are doing the same thing now.
exactly. Now, what'll be curious is like, where does this ongoing lawsuit even go? At some point, will there be a difference?
Yeah, and Christopher's saying he still uses
So,
TripAdvisor for reviews.
Yep.
Although he takes it, but what I saw was that Google takes every one of these platforms and makes them all into one channel, right? So Christopher, greatly using TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite for the longest time. But then I started seeing that Google takes TripAdvisors and Bookings and everyone's reviews all into one stream. And so I was able to get like the most up-to-date data. But I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's keep pushing. But like in my world for vacation rentals, I own a vacation rental company. We're now connecting to Google because now there's a new channel to connect your vacation rentals to Google. And so that's going to compete with Airbnb and the Verbos of the world. So it's interesting to see where this will continue going on. But you can't just take people's money and then not actually give them a service.
Yeah, no, completely. But I do like, mentioning the whole thing with TripAdvisor is like the review part, as you were mentioning, because I think that also is as obviously it's a leveraging tactic as well, is that you're not necessarily just using it as a search platform,
Right.
but the actual, leveraging of like, okay, what are these reviews? Like, what are they saying, et cetera. So I think it's it's pretty it's interesting. It'll just be interesting to see how this shakes out because whew, Google's definitely dominant in the whole field.
Yeah, I hope they show us like how they're using their algorithm to put the ads for people they're searching to see what makes most sense about it, right?
Yeah.
And
I
like
mean,
Steven Sinclair said, I go to Google because it's fast and the UI is easy. So
yeah,
when I go there, I get blasted with cross sells. I'm telling you,
this
man,
is true.
it's gonna get interesting to see who is gonna be
Ooh.
the winner here.
Fight it out. Fight it out. So, yeah, anyway, let us know what you guys are thinking and seeing about this. If it is even impacting your properties or where you happen to be working. Always fascinating. Um, moving along. So this was kind of cool. A study that was conducted by AHLA, the American Hotel and Lodging Association. They found that hotel boards have increased the number of women and Black directors. In 2022, a study was conducted, and they found that basically there was an increase in this was Penn State School of Hospitality Management. They found there was an increase between 2021 to 2022. So 2022, women held 31.3% of independent board seats on public hotel companies, compared to 22%. So basically 22% to 31% in a year increase. So always interesting to see how that is changing in the executive space. Have you been seeing this, Steve?
Yeah, like what I would like to see more. And so I was thinking about this as we were talking about this topic was we do podcasts, we interview a lot of people, and I started looking at my feed of people I've interviewed, and I try to interview CEOs and top executives, and I didn't see much difference there. It was all white males, right? And so I know we still have a long
Yeah.
way to go to continue
Yeah.
to integrate and to get Black directors and to get more
100%.
females out there. Like there are definitely females in leads. There are definitely some female CEOs out there. Like Salamander Hotel has a Black female
Of
CEO
course.
owner, right? So, but I would like to see
Mhm.
more people of different backgrounds mixed in to these leadership roles, especially at that corporate level, because it can really make a company much better when you have so
100%.
many different points of views versus the traditional. And look, there's some scary talks at certain brands, I'm sure, right? And I'm sure some of you have been
Yeah,
out there where it's like, all right, who are we choosing? And sometimes that can be
totally.
tough to do.
Yeah, 100%. Well, first of all, what I like about this study is that it's a reminder that this is still top of mind, because I know obviously a couple years back, this was very much the forefront of the discussions and on everybody's mind. And so it's nice to know that people are still it they're still keeping this awareness in mind as they are putting new people in place for different executive positions.
Mhm.
Also, what's really great is like at the end of the day, we work in hospitality. Like it's such a diverse industry from socioeconomic backgrounds to ethnicity to like where people have been born, all of that. And so it only makes sense, as you said, Steve, it only makes sense that executives should mirror the industry that we're in. And I think that's what's such a beautiful thing about what we do in the industry that we work in is that it is this real melting pot of people from all backgrounds. And that's what makes it so exciting, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think it comes down to some of the owners that are out there that maybe not be self aware, that are surrounding themselves with people that are like them. Right. And so
Yeah.
you got to be conscious of I need to look around this room and see different kind of people with different backgrounds and different faces.
Yep. Yep.
And
It's
Jeremy's
it's
saying, well,
definitely
yeah.
it's
And sorry, and Jerry's just writing us, says, Sarah, as we saw at the conference, there is a growing number of, how do I always say this? The Clef d'Or?
oh, Lake Clador, Lake Clador.
Lake Clador, female head concierges, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Sorry, Jeremy, I said it wrong. I've
Yes.
always wanted to make sure I say that the right way.
It's all good. I'll be here to
Clean
remind
it
you.
up. Clean it up for me.
Come on. Yeah, no, it is always interesting. And it's funny that not funny, but it's a good point that Jeremy even brings up in the world, just even specifically of concierge, has always been a male dominated world. And it's unusual because to us in the United States, I think 60% of concierge are actually women. which is very different. It might these by the way, these numbers might be changed in like the past couple of years as so much has shifted in the industry. But internationally, I think women, as far as what they make up of concierge, is like 10%. So it is very interesting. And that's just obviously one small profession within the hospitality sector. So how much is that influenced in other aspects of the industry? So these are always something to consider.
Yeah, look, we got to keep pushing. I think us just talking about it helps bring it to light, and someone listening might make a decision today. So you know what? Let's do something a little differently today. So
Yes, yes. All right. Well, moving on to our next topic here. Hilton. Hilton has done a study. All these big brands are like doing these reports. So I do find this part funny. They're like they found so what they did they did a study on several factors, but they found that travelers, their number one reason for why they are choosing to travel in 2024 is for rest and relaxation. Now, I'm sure you guys are like, well, is that not obvious? It, it isn't that obvious because I believe 2 years ago, the number one reason was to reconnect with family.
mhm.
So that's why they kind of do these studies is like, why are people traveling? What do they want? Because if we know what they're traveling for, we also know what to provide for them. So, and they had some other things as well too, is that they're really seeing that travel is being prioritized as a form of self-care. They're also prioritizing travel spending in 2024 and making these, changes. Even culinary experiences, by the way, are also probably one of the most desired aspects of travel for 2024.
Yeah,
Not sure if you saw that,
I
Steve.
saw that, which
Figure
I
that's up
thought
your alley.
was, yeah, what I love seeing was that culinary experience is the most desired travel experience out of all of them. And
Mhm.
so for everyone out there
Yeah.
that's got a hotel, you need to put that amenity in if you can. So talk with your chef and create that sushi class or that pizza making class or that family cooking class or whatever it might be, and charge your 25 to $55 or maybe make it free with that resort fee that you've got.
Yeah.
Um, because you'll get a lot of traction with it because now people are saying that's what they want the most. And plus, they're going to take a ton of pictures with you, share it on social media, and make sure that your brand is leading what people are looking for. But look, I want to relax when I travel. I used to be partying. Maybe it's when you're your age group, right? Maybe it says you're
This is
getting
true.
older, but it's saying Gen Z wants to relax and chill and learn some new experiences. But if you're listening today, like, what do you travel for? You can just say, I like to for relaxation. Is it to go get a new experience? Is it to go party still? Like I still these all inclusives that we talked about last week are popping up, so people still like to have a good time.
Yeah. Well, and also interesting, the changing landscape of leisure travel. So
Mm,
business and leisure travel, as we all know, uh, it's continuing to change as business travel has picked back up. Um, And before, for those, we were really seeing like, okay, people that are traveling for business are adding on, a couple days on the front end or the back end to like really kind of maximize the travel experience. Now, what that we're seeing is an increased number of business travelers are bringing a friend or family member with them.
ooh, I like that.
So that's pretty neat.
I think
Yeah,
that's very cool
right.
because I remember, like, as a kid, like,
It's
sometimes my dad would bring us along, but now it's, like, more and more happening, like, mixing the
yeah.
2 of these experiences, I think is great because yeah, you go to your seminar, the conference during the day, and then at night, if you don't have a planned event, you've got your friend to go out and hit the city and explore something new.
Oh, totally. Totally, totally. So, always really interesting. Oh yeah, love this. Of course, whenever you can bring family, and it also is nice too because it's like you can go to your meetings and things during the day, and then like you can plan something in the evening with your family. Or I mean, imagine, let's say, like for example, Orlando, the number of conferences that happen in Orlando, and I always think like, oh my gosh, how like with all this space and all these people coming here for work, what a shame it would be to go and maybe not necessarily be able to not bring your family where you could kind of take advantage of that.
Yeah, go to the parks and hit those up, but
So,
it's younger and younger people are wanting these
yeah.
things, and it just made me think of my daughter. Just this weekend was making
Yeah.
bracelets. And she's like, "I'm going to sell these bracelets at school." She's 7 years old. I was like, "Hey, what do you sell? Why do you want to sell them?" She's like, "I want to go on more trips." And I was like, wow, this is cool. You want to pay for your trips by selling bracelets? Like, did I put that in you, or is it just something that you like doing? It's very cool to see.
That is really cool to see. Really cool.
So
Wow. And talk about entrepreneurial spirit.
yeah, shocked me. I was like, this is all right, ready to go. We'll keep traveling.
Yeah.
But see, it's starting younger and younger, everybody. So making sure you have
That
something for everybody to capture their attention.
Oh, totally, totally. So, well, this kind of leads into the next topic here that we can touch on before we go into our travel topics. Marriott Bonvoy. And why I wanted to bring this up is that it's again this reminder as far as like destination travels and these properties really thinking bigger picture. So, Marriott Bonvoy launched Caribbean engagement and bachelorette experiences because what we saw after the pandemic is that destination weddings were huge. So now we're seeing that some of these, considering the destination of like the hotel, the property, really kind of creating these experiences geared towards whether it is engagements, whether it is, bachelorette, bachelor experiences. I think that's smart because that's like depending on where your property is located, that can be a real untapped market.
Yes. And I like that they're adding it as a package, especially for the bachelorette and
Yeah.
bachelor parties. But this is more bachelorette is I went to South Beach forever, and some people would plan their own bachelor events and cause chaos in the hotel hallways. So I'd rather know, like, we've created a package for you. Here's where it's going to be. I know where you are. We're going to assign you to this floor, which is a party floor. Like, I like
Yep.
that the hotel's doing it from that side, but also offering it to guests to be able to say, like, I don't have to sneak around and hide things. That we're coming here for a good time, and whether it's the engagement party or this bachelorette party, I love seeing hotels meeting their guests to help them create experiences.
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, again, it's just smart because it's a mini version of groups, I mean, you might not be having like a big group like corporate event, but like you might have a group of 5, 6, whatever, and like they're ready to spend money. This is
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, they're coming to like get their pick for the gram, but also to have that memory making. But
yep.
when you were concierge, I'm sure you had to help organize some of these, right? Like them
Oh,
going around. Like, did you have anyone that stands out in your mind?
not only did I definitely bachelor and bachelorette experiences for sure, but so more engagements. The
Wow.
number of engagements that would happen, and it's normally they came in with an idea, but there were times that, like, I'd have guys that were coming, they're like, "What should I do?" And I'm like, "Um, well, I'm not in your relationship, but I
Yeah.
don't know this person." But, so that was always really cool kinda being part of that, and it was like, "Okay, how can we document this?" Because that was the whole thing as well too, is how to, like, casually be there to, like, help them capture the moment, you know?
Mhm.
That to me was always so fun and special, like, how neat for people, you know?
Yes. I love that. And did you have like a certain area that it's like, this is a great place to propose? This is a great place for pictures or
Oh, definitely. So rooftop always. And what was nice is that the rooftop at one of the properties that I worked at was a little bit on the quieter side. So it was like they could kind of have this like romantic moment where they weren't surrounded by a lot of people. They could see the whole, skyline of the city, sparkling lights, and then oh, let's like order another drink or whatever it is. And they would do it was just fun, like all to see all of these, little like surprises. But then the bachelorette parties, I mean, those got rowdy. I think who got to see more of that was housekeeping and cleaning up the rooms
Mhm.
afterwards.
And all the props and
Yep.
yes.
Everything, everything, which is crazy. So, yeah, I don't it's good. Again, that's a good, area that a lot of businesses can be making money on.
Yeah,
We're all
get
for that.
into it. Make sure it shows you here. They did the study, people want it, so start offering it.
Yep. Okay. Travel topics. Well, this is definitely more like in the hospitality sort of realm with restaurants. Steve, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. Okay, so this restaurant in rural Georgia. So, by the way, I went to high school in Georgia, so I'm sorry. But just saying,
Is this your
um,
neighborhood? This is your neighborhood.
this is my neighborhood. These are my people. No, I'm kidding. But this restaurant been made a lot of news because they basically added a $50 surcharge to a family's bill because their kids were being loud. So what was interesting is apparently the kids weren't for the parents. They were actually thinking, "Wow, it's so nice. Our kids are actually being so well behaved and they're not being loud." And then afterwards they went out to go like play by the lake area, something like that. And then when the bill was presented to them, they realized that because I think it was multiple families, each family
Mhm.
had an extra charge of $50 for their kids being loud. Uh and what?
I
That's
just
crazy.
I love this, just because it makes me laugh. But it says when diners arrived, then they open the menu at the Tocal Riverside restaurant. They are
Yeah.
greeted with a warning at the top of the menu that says "Adult surcharge for adults unable to parent, $50 fine." And so people thought it was a joke, but they've done this now many times. And Jeremy's saying that he thinks that sounds great and wishes airlines would do this. And
Hilarious.
look, I've got kids, and there's times that they're out of control. I don't want them to be,
No,
right? And they just happen to act up. And there's also adults that act up, so there should be a fine for adults that act up too. We've talked about that in a
actually,
previous one that get out
totally.
of control. But this, it makes me laugh 'cause I can see this person thinking this is a great idea, and now it's gotten headlines across the globe, and we're talking about it today. But I want to flip it for him of saying like, I see you're having a tough day. Let me flip this. Instead of a surcharge, I'm going to give you something just to maybe I see it's a tough day for you as a parent. Let me help you out here and entertain the kids with something, or I get you something as a special treat, or let me get you this corner table where I know you can control the kids a little better. Something to flip it versus the other way. So if I was consulting him, let's flip this surcharge the other way. And then I would also give, if there's people who are annoyed, hey, I know we got some loud kids today. This whatever's on me today,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Just flip
I
it.
mean, I agree with you 100% because it's like and again, it all depends on the situation. Obviously, there are times where it's like you can tell that, the children are just they're having a hyper moment or whatever's going on, and it's not necessarily bad parenting. It's like they're just kids are just being kids. So, but I love your suggestion in regards to flipping it. That to me is the true essence of hospitality because you're
Mhm.
understanding what the parents are probably going through, especially if you can see that they're really trying. But I'm curious if it's because this was their way of doing this, if they felt like the parents weren't actually trying. Because there are times that you can see you're like, "Oh my
Oh yeah,
gosh,
they
these
just let the
kids are
kids
running
run
all over."
around like, and I'm like, get your kids in order here, people. But I see one from I doesn't say the name, it says LinkedIn user on a fam trip in Paris with an American agents. We were threatened to not be served at our table kept the loud talking. See,
Oh.
adults being rowdy, especially as Americans in foreign
Oh,
countries,
yeah.
sometimes are
I
a
was just
little too loud.
I mean, no, that's huge. Actually, I think that's a more interesting thing because you do have different groups of people that, when they are in places are just ridiculously loud. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, come on, we're adults. Like, I mean, we know you're having a good time, but like you are also in a public place.
Yeah, I've had to be in those conversations where they're like, Steve, the server couldn't help, the manager couldn't help. We need the director level coming in. And I'm like, guys, just relax. I can move you outside. Let me move you to another place. But you're in the middle of the restaurant screaming and toasting, and it's not a nightclub. We can take you
Yeah,
to a nightclub. I have a
no,
nightclub. We can go there.
definitely
But
not a
it's hard.
nightclub.
So
It's
anyway, for
definitely
the
not.
kids surcharge, I just like thinking about that guy coming up with this idea. It's like this is going to work, and then this is what happens.
Ooh, I'm gonna get them. Arr.
Yeah, I kind of want to go
Okay.
now. I kind of want to go just to see it.
Oh, yeah, we could do a field trip. We'll do a field
Yes,
trip. Check that out. Oh my gosh. Well, why don't we quickly, get over to our real-time recap?
let's do it.
All right, Steve, what have you seen out there in the world of hospitality this week?
Well, we just talked about Halloween to start the show. And
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to all of the houses and parents that take the time to really go all out during this holiday because I was shocked by some of the setups that people took the time to like set
Love that.
up and make creepy and get dressed and make sure that kids, teenagers, and even adults have a great time. So shout out to all the families and parents and that did it. That's what I saw. You could see like just kind people that had a good time with people walking
Yeah.
through the street, like good old like Americana vibes last night.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And again, it shows you hospitality starts at home.
Mm, I like it. That's the
Mm.
quote. Clip it.
That That's the quote. That's drop
Clip
that.
it.
Drop that. I happened to do a site visit of the new Pendry Hotel in Newport Beach yesterday,
Ooh, I
and
like
it was
Pendry's.
oh my gosh, me too, right? They're so fun. I love their commitment to the design element, and it's just like it's it's a really cool offshoot of the Montage brand,
Mhm.
and it was fascinating to see, but it's so interesting because again, so Newport Beach. So I live in Los Angeles, and Newport, for those that might not know, that's down in Orange County. So it's about like an hour-ish drive away, but very much more of like suburban, more of a resort area as well too. Yes, there are businesses as well, and some bigger businesses, but um it it's cool to see because that's very much a different destination and market than say Los Angeles. So like what flies here is very different there. And it was what I like is that they've really tapped into being this sort of destination for those that live in and around the area. Like their bar area is so cool. And they were talking about like people are almost spending more just in the bar area than they are like in hotel rooms. And it's fascinating to me, but it also it's cool that they've made themselves a beacon for the neighboring area. And again, it's that reminder of yes, it's not to always focus on heads and beds. Obviously, that's like the main part of what we do with hotels, but to really not sleep on your F&B offerings. And that if you have like awesome F&B offerings, you can be doing so much profit and generating all this traffic of people to come in. And then next thing you know, you're on the radar. They have friends come in, they have their friends stay there. It's awesome. So really cool property and really nice to see. And I can't wait to go back.
I'm excited. So shout out to Montage Group because they have some great people out there. You've met a bunch of them. I've met a lot of them. I need to stay in them. I haven't stayed in one because I don't have them down here yet. So I need to be
Oh
in a
yeah.
Montage or Pendry. But the Laguna Beach one, I have two friends there with Mary Rogers and Armando Campos. I need to come see you all soon.
Ooh, let me know. We'll definitely make it another
Yeah,
field trip. We're
live, live.
we're planning all these field trips. Actually, by the way, we do need to consider that. So just putting that out there. If you're tuning in and you'd like the idea that Steve and I could maybe do this show live, we could
Hmm.
start that conversation. So
We're ready.
just saying.
We're ready.
We'll travel for shows. Okay. Um, what do we before we wrap up, do our hospitality quote of the day. I
I like
love
this one.
this. Hospitality is making your guests feel at home, even if you wish they were. By Justine Voigt. I kind of like that.
That's those loud guests.
Exactly.
I'm going to take care of those loud guests as best as I can and make sure that they're having a good time, even if they got to get out of here.
You're like, have a good time and thank you for going home at the end of the day or end of the trip. But again, I think it is that reminder that it's like, we are human at the end of the day. Obviously, we have a job to do. Obviously, we want to make sure that people have a good time. And then you're like, and they had a really good time, but we're good to kind of like reset and then have like a new group of guests come in.
That is true. I like that quote. I've felt that way many times. And that's being a true professional. That's when you're truly professional in hospitality and you know that you can put in the reps and take care of anybody as long as they're being respectful.
This
Right?
is true. This is true. Make sure that they respect you as well as your employees because that's
Hmm.
critical.
I love it.
So,
Well, listen, we
wow.
got a couple things, but I want to make sure we tell people like make sure to connect with us offline. We love talking to you. I've got a lot of notes from you. Jeremy, you sent me a nice note last week
Oh,
after the show.
Jeremy's
Connect with
awesome.
us on LinkedIn. Connect with us on Instagram. Sarah shares a ton of stuff. She was just at the Pendry sharing all the stuff that she's talked
It was
about.
so
So
pretty.
we love connecting you with you offline, and let's keep this going. I love the community we're building here.
I know, this is great. So yeah, so always keep it going and yeah, let us know if you have questions, topics that you want us to see us cover. Always exciting. I know a couple of people have reached out for that. So we'll try to see how we can integrate them as we go on. Also, reminder, sign up for the GMC report, the Good Morning Hospitality report. That way you can stay abreast as far as what's going on in the hospitality business. And always don't forget to subscribe, like maybe even leave us a review
Yeah,
far as like, yeah, right?
Yeah, everyone who's on here today, I see you all here. You're going to go on, leave us a comment that you like Steve and Sarah show. We're getting very competitive with the vacation rental show.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
Yes, the Steve and Sarah show. Keep it coming. Oh my gosh. We just had a quick question here that Steven Sinclair asked, where do we submit topics? Just message us directly. Let us know. So connect with us on any of our social media platforms, submit topics to us, and we can go ahead and get you connected with the right people, or we just go ahead and integrate it. So super simple. But like, subscribe, follow, all of the above, and make sure that you continue to listen to us where you get and listen to all of your favorite podcasts.
Have a great week, everybody.
That's right. See you next week.
Bye.